Kelas presenter kita akan kita persilakan kepada Bapak Ahmad Yani.
Ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Uh, thank you for the moderator that has given me a chance to present my research about the implementation of separate learning and advanced writing course. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Yani. I am an English Language Education Study Program student of Lambung Mangkurat University. The background of the research is based on the researcher experience. When he was on the advanced writing course, he got a problem in his writing. So he found one of the strategies that helped him in secretary learning because it can help in responsibility, such as in planning, proper control, and by evaluating. Objective of the study is to figure how students of English language education study program implement substitute learning in advanced writing course. The definition of these key terms is the implementation is an application that carry out by action or plan to achieve the goals. Separated learning, a strategy that gives students responsibility in their learning, such as planning, proper controls, and self-evaluations. Content writing course is designed to build on skill developed in second year's writing class by introducing student in academic writing. Scope of the study in this research is implementation of separated learning and advanced writing course, and the student of this research is English Language Education Study Program student batch 2018. Review of related literatures. Separated learning is perceived as a learning and motivational process that underlie and study acceptance of individual responsibility to learn, which might include a teacher as self-control, execution as effort of skilled student to work an ideal level, frequently under troublesome exhibition condition. So separate learning, which means is a strategy in focus on learning and motivation process that give students responsibility in their writing. So as a teacher can be assistant to help them in reaching the goals. And aspect of better learning, there are three. The first one is meta connection, motivation, and behavior. And characteristics of the learning, more than detailed information, and is not single personality and self-motivated quality depend on several beliefs. Factors that influence separate learning, there are five. The first one is personal, behavior, self-reactions, temperament factor, and reinforcement factors. Writing is an approach to create the language and express thought, emotion, and conclusion. Process of writing, planning, drafting, editing, and final versions. Research method in this research was used descriptive collective research, and this study was student in advanced writing class in first master English language, English language education study program at ULM. Hmm. Data collection in research is as permit. After that, uh, doing interview, after that, and doing the documentation. After that, the analyze using the scripted collective research. Finding and discussion in this research, the researcher found 14 aspects of subject learning that the student do in their writing. The first one is self-evaluation. The second one is organizing and transforming, goal setting and planning, seeking information, keeping record and monitoring, information structuring, self-consequences, rehearsing and memorizing, seek assistance, reviewing notes, others. It means that learning behavior that initiated by other people or unclear verbal responses. So the discussion in this research is based on the research finding. The student in first semester have implemented separated learning in their writing. The research has found students implemented separated learning important aspect in their writing, such as self-evaluations. There are three stimulation for those students doing separation in their writing. The first one is when they have known their score, and when the second one is when they have done with his writing. It has supported by Zimmerman statement. One of the characteristics of separated learners is evaluate the obstacle or problem that may arise and make adaptation are needed. And the third one is when the student get a feedback. It has supported by Bandura and Shang statement. Children who are guide, judge, and advise in their learning, it can make them uh, improve in their writing and accuracy in their writing. So organizing and transforming, when students do a process of planning and organizing, it can provide with awareness and know how to do with the strategy and approach in their learning. And goal setting and planning, when students have set their goal and plan in their learning, it can make them improve and enhance in their writing, master of subject, and getting interested to the text. And seeking information, learning shouldn't be seeking information such as finding information by Googling or any social media that help them. It has supported by Goodnow and Skinner. An effective learning environment that help learners in using supplemental is is easily getting easily read sources and predictable, and they can control individually. Keeping record monitoring when students have concern about their progress and monitor their performance, it can give useful feedback such as know how well they are performing toward one goal. And from structure, many shouldn't be and from structuring such as a finding place, like in the quiet and clean place to help them in their learning. It has provided by the man student proactive perspective to choose strategy for changing the learning environment. Subconscious in this research for just for students added subconscious such as buying a gift, hanging out with their friend, and making leisure time after they have done with their writing. It has supported by the man students who were awarded and rated by themselves. It can make them faster in their learning, greatly enhance efficiency, and increase the mastery subject and motivate them to do text. Rehearsing and memorizing, one of the strategy that help the learners in writing, that is the separated learning strategy, because it can have internal contents, such as by seeking information and interact the practicing mechanic by practicing to write. After the seek assistant, many students did a seek assistant with their friends, such as a sharing idea or opinion they have had to help them in their writing. It has supported by Zuma and Martin Pons, two sources of social support that help learner in using separated learning or direct assistance and getting feedback from the learners do, such as from the lecturer, teachers, exchange that between the idea from students and advice or an opinion from the adult. And the second one is from the literatures. And the last is reviewing note and text multimedia. Mentioned with reviewing note to regain the information they have had before, like a background knowledge to help them in their writing. It has part by Kobayashi statement. Uh, Living not in planning way, they can reinforce and regain the information the learners collected or recorded in their notes. So conclusion in the research is based on the finding of this research. The researcher found that students implemented many strategies which used separated learning in writing, namely self-evaluation, organizing, transforming, such as organizing idea and information to be transformed into their writing, goal setting and planning, such as preparing the concept, information, and vocabulary to complete the task, making schedule, and prioritizing the list to help them to do a task, seeking information, keeping record and monitor, and from structuring such as a setting place, like a quiet and clean place, and a specific time like in the morning and night. Set consequences such as buying something, hanging out with their friends, or giving time to take a bath. For hazing and memorizing, seek assistance from peer teachers, adult, and reading note as well as on multimedia or internet. So this is last my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, you can ask me directly or my email with achmadani466@gmail.com. Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih kepada Bapak Ahmad Yani.